Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and got another power station review for you folks today. It's a pretty good deal going on right now with Amazon. So this is $3.99 basically. It's $4.69 with a $70 coupon. I checked that this morning. So if you guys like what you see, I'll leave this link down below and you can check it out. And that coupon code's been running every time I've checked this thing. But this is from FFpower. This is a 614 watt hour lithium iron phosphate power station. It weighs 17 pounds. This thing is built like a tank. It's a lot heavier than I thought it was gonna be. I'll go ahead and say that right off the bat. It's a heavy unit for 615 watt hours. But again, this thing is built solid. And this time we do get a nice hard zippered case with all of our charging cords in here. And here's the unit. LED in the back, business up front. And this is a little bit different form factor than most of my power stations that I review, because most of them, all of the inputs and whatnot would be on this side of it. This particular unit is kind of on the skinny side of it, if that makes sense. And this actually works out perfect for my situation because it fits right in between my cabinet and my bed and my truck camper. So it fits, it fits a real small area, which I like. And again, this thing is surprisingly heavy for what it is. Let me just go over some quick specs of this thing for you guys, and then I'll turn it on and we'll do some charging, see what it can do. So again, this is your standard lithium iron phosphate 614 watt hour power station. That equates to about a 48 amp hour battery in this unit. This thing is rated at 2,000 charge cycles to 80%. And quickly, what that means is you can charge this thing from dead to full 2,000 times before your battery is going to degrade. Now, does that mean that after 2,000 times this thing's going to be useless? No, it just means that after 2,000 times, when you discharge it and recharge it all the way, you're only going to get to about 80% of the battery capacity. Now, 2,000 full charge cycles is a lot. You can do the math. If you do it one a day, do the math. It's going to last a long time. So that's the benefit of lithium iron phosphate batteries also. Trade-off is they're heavier, but I'll take heavier for more charge cycles and a much safer battery any day of the week. This thing does have a built-in MPPT solar charge controller, so you can safely charge via solar panels, and this thing is rated for 15 to 24 volts from your solar panel. So pretty much any solar panel on the market today will work with this thing as long as it's between 15 and 24 volts, okay? The rated charge time for this thing from the AC wall outlet is 7 to 8 hours from 0%, and I'll plug that in and show you how many watts that AC brick inputs into this thing. Okay, that's just a quick rundown of the basic specs over this thing. Let's come in closer, turn it on, see what it looks like. Okay, so let's quickly go over all of the inputs. This is gonna be your input port where you're gonna charge from. These are your two 12 volt, 4 amp DC inputs. Here is your 12 volt cigarette style input. You've got a power delivery 60 watt. That is output only. Unfortunately, it's not an input, but I'm gonna test it just to make sure, but this is just a power delivery 60 watt. You've got two 2.4 amp USB A's. You've got two quick charge 3.0 18 watt USB A's. And of course, you've got two of your pure sine wave AC outlets right here. And these are all on dedicated circuits. So if you want to use any of your DC ports, you got to click this USB button to power this section. If you want to use your inverter and run some AC powered appliances, you got to hit your AC button up here and to turn on all of these. And again, if you want to use any of your DC ports, you got to hit your DC button. Okay, so fairly simple, but let's get this unit turned on. So you can see my battery's at 99% right now. I'm not pulling any watts. You're gonna get your solar charging cables, standard 5521 input to your different solar type connections. You're gonna get a DC charging cord, AC wall brick adapter to charge it. Let's plug in our power delivery cord. Let's turn on our USB, and you can see the Type-C buttons light up there. And I've got it connected to my iPad, and let's see what we get. So already you can see that I am charging 12 watts and I've got 46 hours of runtime remaining. So let's plug in my phone. So my phone is now plugged in. So I'm pulling 20 watts of juice. I got 20, well, this keeps changing on me. Okay, looks like it kind of settled down. So now with my iPad and my iPhone both plugged in, I'm pulling 25 watts. I got around 24 hours of runtime remaining. So now let's start plugging in some things into that inverter. Okay, I don't know how this is gonna work because I've never actually used this test, but I'm gonna plug in one of my DeWalt battery chargers to the inverter. I'm gonna turn the AC on and the AC notification light cuts on. And we are going to hook up a battery. Okay, that's plugged in. It's going. It's pulling 207 watts right now. So, iPad's charging, iPhone's charging, my 18 volt DeWalt battery is charging off of the inverter, and I am pulling a total of 208 watts on average, and I've got between 2.4 and 2.5 hours left of total runtime on this unit. Let's plug in a fan. Let's push this inverter. So I'm gonna plug this one into the last spot. I'm gonna turn this fan on high. Well, that's surprising, really not too much. We're at 223 watts being output, 2.3 hours of runtime remaining. Okay, let me unplug this and then we'll start charging it, and you can see how many watts are input into this unit from the AC charging brick. Okay, got the power brick here, got it plugged in. Okay, so right now this thing is putting 79, almost 80 watts of juice into the battery to recharge. And you can tell this thing has got 23 minutes left until total charge, which I do like about this unit because it tells you how long it takes to charge. Last one that I reviewed didn't tell you. I like seeing that. I like seeing how long it has until it's completely charged. Okay guys, so let's do a little runtime test on this FFpower 500 watt little unit. So today is Sunday, May 15th, 1:40 p.m. And let's do a test on how I typically would use this unit, you know, out camping. So I'm gonna plug in a 12 volt fridge. Turn that on. Let's get the DC power on. I'm gonna turn the fridge down to 32 degrees. Okay, fridge is set at 32 degrees. Pulling 38 watts. 39, and that compressor's running full blast right now. 14 hours left of runtime. But, you know, I'm camping and it's hot outside. I might want a fan. Okay, now the fan's running. And we are pulling 42 watts now between the fridge and the fan. This is showing 10 hours of runtime. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this all running and I'm gonna come back and check in probably, you know, 4 or 5 hours and see where this little unit is at in terms of runtime. So, guys, till then, see ya. 8:38, Sunday, May 15th. So it's been going for maybe seven hours now. I'll have to look at the video. I can't remember when I started it, but you can see here the cooler is still on, but I'm showing 22 hours of runtime because the compressor's not on right now. Fan's still been going strong. It's pulling a whopping 5 watts, and it's almost 88 degrees here in this hot box of a garage. So I'm gonna let this run overnight. I hope when I wake up in the morning this thing's still running, so I can you know, hopefully give you guys a pretty good little test here. If it cuts off in the middle of the night, I'm not gonna know when it cut off, but hopefully it does. And so I will check back in the morning and see where we're at on this little battery unit. And I'll just give you a close-up just in case you can't see up here. So hopefully you can see that that's 22 hours remaining. I'm at 47% battery capacity. And again, right now I'm pulling 4 watts. So we will check back in the morning and see where this whole contraption stands. Well, okay everyone, it is the next day, 7:45 in the morning. And I just caught this thing in time. We've got 4% left on the battery and 23 minutes left of runtime. So this thing ran for approximately 18 hours. in my opinion, that's more than enough for an overnight camping trip and enough time for you to take this battery unit and get it charged up to however you're going to charge it, via solar, car, DC input port, home electricity outlet, however you're going to charge it up. So again, this thing ran for about 18 hours. The ambient temperature in this garage right now is 80, but it got hot yesterday. The garage actually got up to around 95 degrees, but I didn't get that on camera, but you guys can trust me. I'm in Texas and you know it's hot. So the last test that I'm gonna do with this thing, can you charge this thing while running appliances? And yes, you can, but let me show you. So I got my charger here, and I'm gonna plug it into the input. And you should be able to see the input wattage. Okay, so now I've got my fan running, I've got the cooler running, I've got an input of 76 watts, and this will flash between input and output. So my output is 57 watts, but the point is that you can still plug in a charger while running appliances at the same time. So there's a quick overnight test on this unit on how we would typically use it out in the field, camping, whatever we're doing, with a cooler and a fan, which is what I use for overnight in the back of my truck. So it worked very well. So let me get all this cleared away, and I'll give you a final rundown if I think you should buy this or not. There's one main thing that I'm still a little bit disappointed in, but we'll go over that here now. Okay, so final thoughts on this little unit. I think it's a good buy. I really do. I like the form factor. I like the fact it's built like a tank. All aluminum, rubber on the corners. It's built very well. 17 pounds. It doesn't feel like a toy. And I love the form factor of this. I love the thinness and all the ports up here in the front, because this is, again, in my case, going to go in between my cabinet and my bed, and I'll plug everything into the front. So it's perfect for my case. But the only gripe I have about this unit is the fact that you can only plug in one source of charging. So either your solar panel, your AC power brick, or your DC charging cable. You can't input more than one different type of charging source into this thing to give it more juice to charge. So whichever way you choose to charge this thing, it's still gonna take 7 to 8 hours to charge this unit. You can't input more juice into this thing to speed up that charging cycle. That's my only complaint about this, and I wish there was like a 100-watt power delivery input option on this instead of the output only. I'm not complaining about having the output only, but it would be nice to be able to plug in, you know, 100-watt power delivery into there, like some of the other units I have. But at this price point, it's a steal in my opinion. $3.99 with coupon again, and I'll put the link down below. But I think for $3.99 and 614 watt hours of lithium iron phosphate batteries, that's a good deal in my opinion. So with that, guys, I hope it helps. So again, if you're in the market for these things, you know, I've given you a couple of good options. I think this is one of the better ones in my opinion, just through my testing that I've done, and just the overall, you know, you guys can't feel it and hold it, but it just feels like a really nice quality built power station. So with that, guys, I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, we'll see you again. Take care.